One of the things that I love about here at PCC is that everyone is invested and is very interested in your academic success. I just love it.
This is what I love about PCC. My Business 101 instructor was the reason why I became a business major.
I found like a community I could be with, a community that could help me grow as a person and grow within education.
Coming to PCC really solidified for me that I wanted to be a nurse.
PCC is my home. PCC is allowing me to achieve my dream.
We're not just educating students with classes. We're getting people to invest in themselves.
It changed my life, and not just my life, because when it changed my life, it changed my parent life. It changed my entire family and the next generation life.
The faith of these people in my abilities was indescribably profound.
I am a future social worker because of PCC.
I am a leader because of PCC.
There is no greater joy than getting to help someone who's helping themselves. And that's what community colleges do for our community. It's what PCC does for Portland.
Believing in someone's dream is something great that changes lives.
Although we are dispersed, it is important to acknowledge that wherever we are today, it is on land where we are guests. Today, we recognize and honor the original occupants and stewards of the land we now occupy and this place where we are guests. We celebrate and recognize the original inhabitants of the Americas, the contributions, sacrifices, and the price that was paid for the creation of the United States, Canada, and the nations of Central and South America. We recognize the survival, the adaptations, the forced assimilation, and the resilience and creativity of the Native people, past, present, and future. We encourage the participants to consider the responsibilities to the people and land, both here and elsewhere, to stand in solidarity with Native, Indigenous, and First Nations people, and their sovereignty, cultural heritage, and lives.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sylvia Kelly, proud and honored these past 7 years as the Executive Vice President of PCC. Welcome to this year's in-service. One college, many possibilities. This theme is the culmination of the past 2 years of our college community journeying to become a more holistic, integrated, and aligned organization. Because what unites us all is our belief in and commitment to our mission of service to our students. At the end of that wonderful opening video, a PCC student said, "Believing in someone's dreams, it's something great that changes lives." We all, each of us in our individual and collective roles, play an essential role in helping students achieve their dreams. It's why we show up to work every day. So much of our good work isn't in the limelight. It's in the moments faculty and staff spend with our students and with each other. And I know this year has been especially challenging for all of us, but I have hope. I have hope because I've seen how you've continued to lead, inspire, and innovate despite not being together face to face. You do whatever it takes to support students and one another, extending the utmost grace and care. We've continued to show up, even from our kitchens, various places in our homes and environments, often with children, animals, and the day-to-day happenings in our lives, and you believe in students' dreams. This is my last in-service. For the past years, I've always looked forward to coming together and seeing everyone and catch up. So much has happened and changed in our worlds since my first in-service. I couldn't have even imagined. Again, we can't be in person. I miss everybody. But I'm so glad we can be together today, even virtually. And after in-service is over, I hope you feel pride in what we've created and built together over the past year in the midst of a global pandemic. I hope you feel a renewed sense of purpose to serve students. Thank you all for being valued members of the college. We're so lucky to have you. Now, we have a fun, interactive activity for you. And when we come together as one college, we help create many possibilities for students. We'd love to hear how you plan to support our community this year. So go to pcc.edu/inservice and share. And here's what we want you to share. How will your work in the One College model help create new and enhanced opportunities for PCC students this coming year? If you do, you'll be entered to win a PCC shirt and some swag. I hope you can take the time to tell us how you hope to provide new and enhanced opportunities for PCC students this year. We really would love to hear what you have to say. Up next is President Mark Mitsui to talk about our preferred future of learning and work. I've known President Mitsui for a few years now, and I've been proud to work alongside him, especially this past year. We've had a great working relationship, a strong partnership. Under his leadership, the college has engaged in so many important undertakings, from donated PPE, from our healthcare programs, a COVID testing clinic, an online contact tracer training program, and so much more in response to the pandemic. And it's been more than challenging to lead this past year and a half. Mark not only helped to author the Pathways to Opportunity bill that was just passed by the legislature so that low-income students have access to benefits and resources to address their basic needs, but here at PCC, he ensured that our strategic initiatives are actionable and funded. And we completed the first major foundation campaign to support our students. President Mitsui has helped lay the foundation for so much at the college and beyond, always with equitable student success at the forefront. He's here to talk about how PCC will continue to meet the moment we're in and what we have to look forward to as we start this new academic year.
Thank you, Sylvia, for that kind introduction. And welcome. Welcome, everyone, to PCC In Service 2021. Sylvia and I recorded these remarks on the Sylvania campus on a glorious day in August. It's the first time that I've been back to Sylvania since March of 2020, and it's so wonderful to see one of our campuses again, and I know that I'm not alone in eagerly awaiting a time when we can all be together again. While I have a lot to share with you about where we are heading this year, I want to pause and acknowledge this moment. This has been a very difficult 18 months. We have lost friends and loved ones to a deadly virus. We have faced severe restrictions in our personal and social lives, and we've experienced unprecedented levels of isolation and uncertainty. And like so many other public institutions, Portland Community College continued, even in the midst of multiple crises, we continued to move forward our mission of delivering access to education and to equitable student success. I'm humbled by and grateful for all of your hard work. You're going the proverbial extra mile. You're taking so many leaps of faith. In this PCC's 60th year, I'm confident that we're on a path to making this college even more impactful for the students and communities we serve. We gave our all in this past year. Today, I hope we can both acknowledge the difficulties as well as continue our process of renewal. During summer term, we saw just a few in-person classes back on some of our campuses. This fall, over 75 courses, programs, and services will be welcomed back to physical locations in this phase of sustained reopening. We spent a great deal of time this summer further developing our health, safety, and operational plans for fall term and beyond. Managers and supervisors are working with their teams to develop their own plans for returning to physical locations and to an expanded definition of our work environments. This year is a bridge year for all of us. All of you and our students have demonstrated the capacity to be innovative and creative, to do things that we might never have imagined before the pandemic. We had to. This year, we have the opportunity to be more intentional and more planful as we look forward to our future. The connection and alignment of our strategic plan and priority actions for improving equitable student outcomes, the development of our academic career pathways, our ongoing shift to one college structure, and our 7-year accreditation visit will make this a truly pivotal year for PCC. One of our colleagues has called this a moment of harmonic convergence, and I think it's appropriate. All of our planning, hard work, and collaboration are coming together this year, and present a powerful opportunity for us. As with any critical time, there have been some hard-won discoveries. We've learned a lot in this past year, and now as we thoughtfully return to more and more in-person learning and work, we need to determine what we want to hold on to and what we want to let go of. What'll be different about PCC and what'll be the same? How has the world changed, and how can we best meet this moment? What will our preferred future be, and how will we create it together? The great thing is that we have a map to help guide us through this moment and into the future. We're especially proud of our new strategic plan. Proud because, well, it's an awesome plan. And I'm especially proud because it involved hundreds of students, staff, faculty, APs, management confidentials, administrators, casual employees, board members, student employees, the foundation, and members of the community. And we completed it in remote operations and under very challenging circumstances. It is our guide, our roadmap for the next 5 years and beyond, and we're well on our way. The interconnected themes of the plan focus our goals in belonging, delivery, workforce, and enterprise. We aspire to create a culture of learning that centers students' sense of belonging and well-being. This is so much more than just access or inclusion. It's the intentional creation of systems and practices that cultivate in every student the certainty that PCC is for them. They belong. Redefining the time, place, and systems of educational delivery that are more learner-centric means thinking more creatively and equitably about how educational access and support are delivered to students. We've demonstrated, out of necessity, how nimble and innovative we can be, and we've seen that our smart, capable, and diverse students prefer more and varied options for learning. For many different reasons, our post-pandemic future needs to include more robust and flexible remote, online, and hybrid learning and support modalities. Local businesses and employers count on PCC to provide them with a well-trained and educated workforce, and our students need to see in their programs clear pathways to employment. Right now, our national and local workscapes are changing rapidly and profoundly. PCC will create systems that enable us to be more responsive to those workforce needs, such as in automation-proof jobs and artificial intelligence. We will strengthen our partnerships and build the capacity for spinning up new, innovative programs that will serve emergent workforce needs. We did this with a contact tracer training program, for instance, during the early days of the pandemic. We know that we have the talent and the creativity to become more agile in this space. We'll continue to create and refine our own models of organizing to be more equitable, more community engaged, and more focused on data-driven models for continuous improvement. PCC will advance equitable student success through the creation and diversification of new revenue streams that move our mission forward, cultivate sustainability, and imagine new opportunities. Several interconnected action plans around these strategic themes and initiatives have been in development since the plan was approved last year. Different teams across the college are beginning to operationalize, prioritize, and put these strategic initiatives into action. This plan extends to 2025 and beyond. What makes this strategic planning process so exciting and unique for PCC is that it really is the first time the college is intentionally, methodically, and, well, yes, strategically, tying strategic action plans to the college budget. The strategic plan and the action plans that will come from it are not somehow different from our YES or our One College work, creating more equitable and navigable systems for students like academic and career pathways, a more robust advising system, and better orientation and onboarding are all different facets of the same diamond. Our strategic plan is YES. YES is academic and career pathways, online and hybrid learning, equitable and culturally responsive and sustaining instruction, and systems of support. These more equitable systems are the heart of our strategic plan and our One College for Equitable Student Success vision. See? Harmonic convergence. Another important facet of this year of alignment is preparing for the college's 7-year accreditation report and visit. PCC is accredited by the Northwest Commission on colleges and universities, or the NWCCU. As a regional accreditor, NWCCU provides oversight to colleges and universities across 7 states in order to ensure that academic programming, student services, college policies and planning, procedures, and financial practices are at an acceptable level of quality and continuous improvement. These important areas are also underscored in our strategic plan. By the way, I currently serve as PCC's first commissioner at the NWCCU. The accreditation process is focused on how the college communicates about and operationalizes opportunity and equitable student success. The accreditation process assesses our student learning outcomes and verifies that our programs and processes align with our stated mission. And it makes sure that PCC has developed and communicated a commitment and plan that addresses equitable student outcomes. The Year 7 accreditation report is what we will be focusing on this year through spring term. This report is a self-evaluation of how the college is meeting accreditation standards and eligibility requirements. Over the next several months, we will begin our evidence gathering and report writing. It's a really exciting time for PCC. We have the opportunity to tell our amazing story. The accreditation process allows us to illustrate all the great work we've been doing around the college and to reflect on where we still have room for improvement and growth. Coupled with the operationalizing of our strategic action plans, the accreditation report writing process will help us all see the ways in which our organization's transformation efforts are coming into alignment. Well, this year is one of alignment and transition. It's also a year to look out on the horizon. There are a number of local, national, and global shifts that will impinge upon the work that we do and how we do it. Some of you may remember, about a year after I arrived at PCC, I created a work plan, which I called Bridge to 2020. I held a number of meetings and town halls around this work plan, which was meant to tie our then current strategic priorities to what would become our next strategic plan. Based on many external and internal factors, I identified opportunity and equitable student success as our touchstones. I mentioned my 2018 work plan because in it I referenced some critical demographic and societal shifts based on national, state, and local forecasts. I posited that the college was at a critical inflection point. As housing prices continue to rise, causing gentrification, and as the previous economic recovery was not being experienced equitably, more and more of our students and their families that tend to come to community colleges like PCC were being forced out of our service area. And in their place were people from other states who already had a bachelor's or master's degree. We faced some key existential questions as a college. Who do we serve? What are community colleges here to do? At PCC, we doubled down on our mission, moved our yes work forward, and recommitted ourselves to becoming a learning organization that was more culturally responsive and sustaining in our programs, curriculum, instruction, and practices. Today, we're at another critical juncture, beyond the inevitable existential questions that are surfacing as we contemplate a post-pandemic reality. Critical demographic shifts will make our strategic priorities even more timely and necessary. The birth dearth that futurists projected many years ago is happening. Birth rates have been falling for many years, and there are fewer traditional age college students and increased competition for them. A demographic cliff of sorts of young people in Oregon and nationally will impact the economic picture for years to come. We'll be asking questions about the return on investment of higher education and about the critical role that community colleges typically play in an economic recovery. More and more jobs will be automated, and artificial intelligence will be more and more integrated into the workscape, necessitating more nimble and adaptive workforce training and education, but also highlighting the need for greater interdisciplinarity, something that can be supported by the new academic career pathway structures. Hundreds of thousands of adults, especially in Oregon, who do not have a post-secondary credential and make less than $15 an hour and will be therefore ineligible for these new jobs and careers, need access to opportunity. More and more businesses, employers, and employees will be operating in remote, hybrid, and flexible environments. Dr. Eduardo Padron, President Emeritus of Miami-Dade College, likes to say that talent is universal, but opportunity is not. Our role is to make opportunity as universal as the talent around us. Thankfully, we've been paying attention to these impending shifts, and through the strategic priorities we've identified are poised to meet these local, societal, and national challenges. And if we follow through on our strategic plan, we'll be in great shape. This year, I'll be talking more about these macro challenges in my bi-weekly college messages. Many of you have been intensely involved in the college's efforts to create a one college vision. Since 2017, we've been working across the college in order to reimagine how we are organized and how we work together and how we work better in order to fulfill our mission for equitable student success. In the past, we were certainly doing great things, but often discreetly or in isolation. For instance, programs like Future Connect saw amazing results, but we needed to figure out how to take that kind of model to scale, a model that centers the student, a model that has clear pathways, a holistic approach, guided support, wraparound services, and a culture of inclusion and belonging. We needed to jettison a deficit model of our students and flip the script to take a long, hard look at our own assumptions and practices. We, as an organization, had to unlearn as much as we had to learn. We needed to truly become one college, thinking and working together across divisions, disciplines, departments, and geography to reimagine and transform our organization in support and in service to equitable student success. Last year saw us finally collaboratively designing new administrative structures for academic affairs and student affairs, centered around our new academic and career pathways. These pathways are exciting, interdisciplinary, and include the kind of support, attention to equity and belonging, and connection to career and/or upper degree transfer that our students need to be successful. And this too has not been without challenges. We're just coming out of that difficult part of organizational change, where many things feel scary and uncertain. Added to this is the lack of organic interpersonal connection due to our being in mostly remote operations. It's difficult to be truly in community when we can't be physically together. In spite of these challenges, we're creating an exciting new model. With incredibly talented leadership teams now in place and new relationships and synergies taking shape, we're starting this academic year with an even clearer sense of direction and purpose. Starting this week, you'll have the opportunity to be more engaged with your colleagues and teams. Your managers and supervisors will be involving you in more frequent conversations concerning our preferred future and a more strategic, thoughtful return to work at the college. So friends, here's to a year of coming back, different, changed, better. Here's to this next chapter of reconnecting and creating together.
Hello, my name is Matthew Dickman, and I'm an internationally published poet based here in Portland, Oregon. I'm also a proud alum of Portland Community College. The writing community at PCC is a deeply special one. It is also special to me personally because it was the starting point of my writing career. It was the place that I got interested in poetry and where I got support and encouragement to write poems.
The students are there because they love writing. It's love and it's curiosity, and it's just an enjoyment of language.
My name is Mitchell Jackson, and I'm a proud Portland Community College alumnus. I'm a writer, and I write because I want to leave a record of home, of the place where I come from, of the people, of its history, and I also want to make beauty of it.
It feels like it gives my life a purpose, and there's that zen moment when you're just sitting there and there's no more you, there's just the piece that you're working on and it's just such a beautiful feeling.
Part of writing is just getting to hear everyone else's writing, and you take bits and pieces of that with you when you hear them perform. For me, every time that I meet a new person, my writing changes for the better, and I thank PCC for that, 100%.
It's a group of people just really involved, kind of with their lives depending on it almost. You have the sense that there's real traction there, there's real meaning there. And we're working together to figure things out through writing, to see what we can do in writing. They know what it means to work hard, and they know what it means to suffer, and they know what it means to stand up for yourself, to fight for yourself. And their writing shines with that authenticity.
I didn't have a lot of queer and trans representation growing up, and I want to be able to create that kind of literature that I needed when I was a kid.
PCC has made me feel more grounded and more comfortable calling myself a poet.
PCC has played a role in my writing career by supporting me, by inspiring me. At a time when I wasn't sure if I was going to continue on in school, PCC was a part of the reason why I decided to remain a college student.
The Carolyn Moore Writers House is the largest ever gift in PCC's history. The gift included her family's 2,500 square foot log cabin down in Tigard. This is the balcony. It looks over the marsh, and we hope a lot of good writing will happen here. And it will be the location of the Carolyn Moore Writing Residency, which will be a program where we bring in a series of accomplished writers from across the country to reside at the house and write. There's this beautiful, great room, and we'll have small groups of students there to talk with the writers.
Community is everything, and so for me, this sounds like exactly the place that writers need to find each other.
No other community college in the country has this kind of program. And we're providing access to these students that don't otherwise have access to the national literary scene. Portland is such a literary city. It's such an artistic city. And it has a great legacy of being connected to the arts, to the literary arts. And I think that this program is going to fit really well into our city.
We need writing and we need storytelling so that we can have that shared narrative of a better future that we can all help create.
U.S. Poet Laureate Joy Harjo has said that when a poet writes a poem, they're reaching into their own soul. But that's also a way of reaching out to everyone. The soul of everyone, she says, is inside of each of our souls. So writing is a way of connecting. Writing is a way of healing everyone through healing ourselves.
Hi, this is Frank Goulard, President of the PCC Federation of Faculty and Academic Professionals, welcoming you to fall term and the start of the 2021 to 2022 academic year. I wanted to just welcome you and say that we have and have had for the last year and a half an emphasis on the 3 R's, as we call them at the union. The 3 R's being reorganization, what's the college doing about reorg and how are we included there? About reopening, and what's the college doing about reopening and how can we be involved in that pursuit? And of course, the last one is remote, the remote work that we're all doing as in our jobs. And so I wanted to let you know again, as we have through the emails that we've sent over the last 16 months, that we've formed federation committees that have worked on this, and feel free to contact myself or any executive council member if you want more information on how to serve and contribute to those committees. Again, the committees are the Reorganization Committee, the Reopening Committee, and the Remote Work Committee. And I think the key thing that we've emphasized over and over, and will continue to emphasize, is that we need, and the college needs, the faculty and academic professionals and all employees to have a seat at the table early on so they're part of the decision-making process. It's not a reactive but a proactive process for that involvement. And when that happens, then everyone benefits, and in particularly the students. And that's who we serve, our students, and their education and their path towards their success, whatever they term it to be. So in closing, I just want to say thank you for supporting us and supporting the hard work that everyone's doing. And I congratulate and applaud each of you for the remote work that you've been doing. We continue to urge the college and its administration to be flexible in its approach to remote work in the upcoming year. As we slowly open campuses and centers, we want to still have that accommodation of flexibility for employees who do choose to come in and for those who can't or don't wish to for various reasons. To honor that flexibility in the remote work dynamic, that can still be happening for our employees for their benefit and for the benefit of their household for that matter. So we're on that, and I thank you again for listening, and I wish you all a great year ahead. Take care.
Hey everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Jeff Greider. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm a public safety officer, and I'm the president of our classified union here at PCC. We're AFT Local 3922, as well as the executive vice president of AFT Oregon. By the time you see this, I'll have worked at PCC for 19 years. Wow, where to begin? In all my years at PCC, I have never been so anxious to participate in an in-service week. Even with all the planning and preparation being done, filming this video a month ahead means that things could be very different by the time you're watching it. So many of us are out here struggling with just the day-to-day. We've lost loved ones, gone through major shifts in our working conditions, family dynamics, and community activities. At the very least, since you're watching this, we've survived the pandemic so far. I've lost loved ones to COVID. My wife contracted the virus and is dealing with impacts of the disease. Our relationships with our families and friends are stretched thin, and our entire lives have been upended during the last year and a half. Believe me when I say, I feel your anxiety and empathize with the trauma that we have all experienced and continue to navigate during these times. In this situation we find ourselves in, the support and strength of our union is more important than ever. AFT recognizes this and has provided a free trauma counseling benefit for those of us who have experienced either primary or secondary trauma due to this devastating pandemic. Your work with PCC should not contribute to those stresses and traumas. As the president of our local union, I can assure you that we have your back. Please reach out to me or any of the elected leaders if you need anything. We are here to support you in whatever ways we can to make the transition back onto campus as painless as possible. As a friend and coworker, I want you to feel comfortable bringing up whatever concerns you may have. We're most likely holding our in-service union lunch meeting virtually again this year, but since we're not quite sure how it's going to go, we'll use some magic or technology or something to put the details right up here on the screen for you. Here at PCC, we have the opportunity to serve our community as a community. Please join me in coming back as a community to support not only students who have thrived during remote operations, but also those at risk and marginalized students. So often for students, both K through 12 through college and adult learners, school is a safe place to escape and a resource to help spring us forward in life. For us to operate as a community, we have to act and feel like a community. This requires participation, collaboration, and representation. It does not mean having important decisions made about us without us. An emergency is not a good reason to exclude stakeholders. It's an opportunity to include people and result in a more equitable outcome. We keep the college running, and we need to have a seat at the table. We need to bring PCC back better than ever, and provide critical resources for students. I know it won't be easy, but we've got this. We can do hard things. United, we are a force to be reckoned with, and we can do this better together. Thank you, and I'm hoping we all have a successful and happy fall term.
Thanks, Jeff and Frank. We really appreciate the role you play in representing our employees. Up next is a video that encapsulates the ingenuity of PCC students and the care and creativity of our faculty.
I'm here with Brad, and we're in St. Helens. Brad was my first building construction and technology teacher in the PCC program. So what Brad was showing me this morning was how to set up the saw and cut these guys for this beveled edge so that when you put it up there, it gives like a nice clean look and the sheeting can kind of die into this angle with the rest of the roof.
This particular project, it's just a 30 by 50 garage.
This was the first building that I drew and had permitted.
I've always had a hard time with the drafting side, and she's really good at that. She did the drawings, and she said she wanted to come and, do the hands-on part.
Being out here, seeing the sunrise and working with my hands and just doing something physical with myself and seeing it come up is really cool.
You think about you've got a pile of material, and you take that pile of material and you create with it. And every piece of lumber in here, you had to think through how long does it have to be cut? Where's it gonna fit? You have to have a layout for everything. And then you put it all together and you stand back and look at it and say, wow, we did this. ERIN did most of it. She did all the hard work, the labor part.
Nah.
I want students to be able to see that they can actually build something in the industry. And I would say that pretty much every student in the program has that opportunity.
Hey, welcome. This is the mini house. So it used to be an old garage, so in 2016 converted it into a living space. You're in the living room, which is where probably the most of the time is. I hole up in the corner of the couch quite a bit. So the kitchen, I think the appliances are probably the coolest part. This guy is a convection oven microwave, which makes the best grilled cheese sandwiches you've ever had. If you guys want one, I've got the fixings. You save so much space if you don't put wallboard on top of the studs. This is the office right now, but later on it's the bedroom. I was sort of in a corporate job that was taking quite a bit of my daily life. And then during that I started building this mini house and just sort of envisioning a smaller life. And as I got more and more in it, I definitely knew I needed to change up more of my lifestyle. So I went to the architecture program first at PCC, just to sort of get an idea for like design, and I mostly just wanted to finish my house, but eventually I got so into it that I'm hoping to make a career out of it. PCC and the classmates that I met and the teachers that were mentoring me through all the programs, it's hard not to call it life-changing. I do feel like with the skills that PCC is giving us as students, like we're super enabled to go out and help build Portland. It's a cool community and people are invested. I'm proud to be a part of that.